Hello, hey, good afternoon. Today is 7th of December, Saturday, and over some time I have not been doing a video presentation, and today I restart back for a few video presentations on the aspect of legal and illegal agents. So let us begin. So as we know, legal and illegal in the aspect of any matters is regarding the law. Legal means it follows framework of law in Malaysia, and then also illegal means that it is not following law and it can be punishable under existing framework of law. So there are a lot of issues about situation that landlord or owner or even those who are sourcing for properties, they trust their friends, and friends, although they are not considered bad people or criminals, they are actually in a sense illegal in the aspect of the law. So they say that, I can trust my illegal friends or illegal agents. What say you? So therefore, my purpose of doing this presentation is to show to you the aspect of legal versus illegal representation of an agency contract. So let me begin. So let me blow this out. What is about legality of agreement? When something is legal, it means that it is protected by law, which means that if a draft of agreement or promise and acceptance of the promise is written into a formal format, then it is a contract. Of course, there are elements of contract which I do not want to go in here, and it's probably another few more video presentation to go through all those. You can refer to my early videos, but the nutshell, in a nutshell, something legal means something is following the law and it stands on itself as a legal binding agreement, and it is protected by the law. So you actually have certain framework whereby you cannot have a legal agreement on criminal activities. So like for example, you cannot have a contract killer. Of course, we see this in movies. A lot of time killers are being paid to take down somebody. So this contract, in fact, in Malaysia's legal context, it is illegal to employ somebody to do something criminal in nature. So agency contract is a contract and part of the Contracts Act 1950. That means that anything that is done in accordance with the agreed engagement terms in the agency contract is legally binding and legally protected, the right and the damages of the parties involved. So if you are engaging somebody illegal, that means the person is not allowed to do certain job, and then you have engaged this person, then the whole contract become illegal contract. So nothing in the contract is able to be protected by law. So it is just saying that you are doing something that is a waste of time, and in fact you cannot enforce that agreement onto any party because it is in the first instance an illegal contract. So this in the legal terms is called void at the initial. So at the initial phase is already illegally done, so it is already void. So that contract or that agreement doesn't hold waters. So therefore, illegal contracts can do the law. So there are a lot of people who turn back against you when you engage him. He is a illegal person. He can always turn back against you because he doesn't have anything to hold water in. He cannot go to court and exert his rights. A landlord were to ask an agent to do something illegal. Of course, the agent has a legal protection on himself that he can say, I do not want to do. But if he is an illegal agent, the agent that do not follow law, then he can actually go and carry out the job and then never come back to you. He can take the benefits of the contract and then goes away. So he has no obligation to the duty and responsibility for the job that is entrusted to him. So in fact, he can refuse to follow instruction. He can disagree on what was previously agreed. He initially said yes, he will do something, and then later he said no, I won't do something, or I will not do that thing. So that in fact makes probably the loss to the principal or the person who entrusted the job to this illegal agent. So illegal contracts can also be in the aspect that it ends up that the agent or the broker actually collude with third party without your notice. So he team up with his other con men and come and con you. So this is what is seen in a lot of the situation of land deal where a few parties collude to make a thinking that it is a very good buy or a very good deal that end up taking the money and disappear. So in the old days, actually you see all this in the stories of people having mahjong games and then end up buying lands, and which actually the land is never in existence. So taking secret profit, they can actually mark up and then take secret profit on themselves, and then even having been found out, they can say that you just being stupid, you don't know. So these are things that we hear in the talks among our elderlies. And worse is that these illegal people can mess up your property. In fact, even steal your things, and then it doesn't take heed of your warnings and reminder, especially when you are giving him the key and the possession of the building. He can even rent the building out and then take money from the sublet tenants and not telling you, especially for when you are not around, especially when you are overseas. In fact, a lot of these situations where big piece of property which is expensive to rent out or it cannot be immediately sold, it's been unknown to the owner, but rented out for a profit, converted to be hostel for a profit for the few years even before the property is been actually sold or before it was found out that it has been a scam. So these are considerations that a lot of illegals actually can do, and then they can get away with it. What can you do when you found out that they have done all those things? You cannot do anything, because you can just bring them to police. If you do not want to bring them to police, you cannot actually have another body that regulate them. They are not under any body or any regulatory mechanism in the system of law to govern their action and inaction. So that is a lot of scary story that you can hear on this type of issues. So you can walk away. A lot of time a person walk away with a lot of situation like liabilities, frustrations, and baggage of having to come and repair or restore back the mess that has been made by the illegal brokers. And these are people who really take the advantage on ignorant and also naive owners and landlord. Therefore, it is something that we must learn to avoid, to be able to protect ourselves. However, there is this interesting slide I want to show. In fact, there are possible advantages of illegals also, because there are a lot of maybe auntie, uncle who are actually genuinely helping, and they are very nice people. Then they actually do it for a friend and do it like for fun. So they can be cheaper charges. They don't charge a lot of commission. They do simple job, and they just connect up with the other friends, and then sometimes it's just helping. However, these are part-timers. If you are into the job for full-time, and then you are relying on this as an income, you are an illegal, then definitely you cannot be not making a living. So therefore, they will follow what is in the market, and in fact sometimes you can actually get some nasty ones who actually solicit and then also in fact harass harass the landlord and harass the seller to give them the listing, and then ask the seller and ask the landlord to give a good so-called commission, and then pushing the landlord and the seller to come down to the asking price or asking terms of the third party. So that's why trying to close the deal and take the money. So you have all these people who are doing that. You can refuse to pay, however, any fees to this illegal, because it is illegal anyway. So if your deal has gone through and then he has not collected money and put in his own pocket, then you can collect the money from whatever deal done and then not paying him, because that is he is an illegal person. So you can choose not to pay him, and he cannot do anything about it, because he cannot go to the police station and report you, because he is illegally doing the job of agent. So therefore some very shrewd business people actually do this on illegal agent. They actually ask the illegal agent to close the deal, however they do not want to pay these agents. So this is not good for them, being that they are illegal. They're probably also human being trying to make a small amount of expenses for covering their costs. So because being illegal, number 3 is that they are not charging sales and service tax, or in the old days GST. So GST or sales and service tax is on the professional fee, and if the agency has business over the years and then cumulated to be around or about 12 months exceeding 500,000 ringgit Malaysia, the total professional fee collected, then therefore the law that says Sales and Service Tax Act collecting of the 6% sales and service tax onto the professional fee. So if you have about 4 agents in the agency, then probably you will not touch this amount, 500,000 threshold. But if you have about 20 or 30 negotiator in the agency firm, and they bring in business to a level of commission to some property which is in fact in tens of 20,000 commission, then the 500,000 threshold is easily crossed within the first 1 or 2 years of the agency being in active business. So therefore there is a cost 6% on the professional fee. So if the deal is actually 500,000 deal, and then the commission is 10,000 ringgit, then there will be a percentage on this 10,000, that is 6% on this 10,000, so that would be 600 ringgit . So this 600 ringgit being paid for the government for this professional fee of 10,000. So there is this part that I like to just simply go through, that you have the illegal, and illegals can actually be doing things that is out of law, control of the law. In fact, they can say they don't want to follow the law because they are illegal anyway. They already breached the law, therefore they can do criminal activities like being rough and being rude to clients, and in fact even threaten clients. They can also threaten landlord or tenant. If you have a tenant who doesn't pay, maybe you can send these illegals they are they go to the tenant and threaten the tenants, destroy your property, lock it for you, and then force the tenant to pay. All these are illegal things that you cannot do to tenant. You can issue letter as a demand. You can actually evict the tenant following the law. That means you go through the session court and get the court order to evict the tenant, and then do it in a manner whereby under the law it is allowed to evict. You cannot be locking up the tenant or locking up the house without going through the proper process. And then a lot of time these illegal people can bulldoze through a management corporation or property office demanding certain things to be done, which is actually illegal as well. So a bit on this part, this is something to highlight that if you appoint somebody illegal and then somebody illegal go and do something really illegal about it, then you may be implicated, although you can say you have not appointed him. So if you say you have not appointed him, he cannot accuse you of being appointing him. However, these are again hearsay and need of investigation, and thus investigation, especially when it ends up in police station and it becomes a criminal case, then anyone being accused of may be taken to court. So this would be difficult for landlord and tenant, or also landlord and seller, to go through all these unnecessary court proceedings, or even talking to the police and lock you up one night for investigation. You have already enough headache. So therefore, avoid using all these illegal ways to achieve the objective that you want. So it's not that you want to be unstoppable, but then these agents take it in their hands and then act like he is unstoppable. So therefore, whoever appointed the owner of the house, let's say he actually brings somebody to see the house and then rape the person inside the house. Of course, he is criminally in the wrong for raping the particular prospect, but then it happened in the house. So you are the owner of the house, you would be called for defense. Why you are keeping the house as brutal, or you're keeping the house as a brothel, or you are keeping the house as a joint for people to do drugs and also the prostitution. So therefore, this is dangerous. In fact, this is something that probably need to be watched out for. Right, legals and illegals in comparing to each other, I put it under left being illegal, and then the right side, which is the right side, being the legal one. So if you look at it, agreed term might not be followed. That means whenever you have an illegal appointed person, he can actually choose not to follow whatever you have said. But in the case where it is fully illegal, agreed person as appointed, completed appointment, need to actually sign the appointment letter, and then to follow whatever is written in the appointment letter. So this means that he is accountable for it. But for the illegal ones, because it is illegal anyway, so if there is any failure, it's not being monitored. Nobody can actually point to him that you have not done something, therefore I'm not going to pay you or whatever, because there is no agreement on that. The agreement doesn't stand because it is illegal. Therefore, a lot of time, all these illegal people, they want to keep the money in their own pocket rather than keeping in the client's account, because they will worry if they don't keep inside their own pocket, if anything were to happen, they will not have, they will not be paid, or they will not have the money with them. Whereas in the case of a legal agent, they will know that the agency keep the money in the client's account, and in conclusion of the deal, there is a portion of the money being paid to their own account. So therefore, there is a procedure in keeping the money. Whereas in case of an illegal broker, there is no procedure. They themselves want to keep the money in their own account. So then, if anything were to be wrong, then you need to go to court and take it out as a criminal case. In most of the time where fraud is concerned, so there is a criminal procedure. A person is like you got robbed, your house got robbed, and then somebody go and rob your car. Therefore, it is a criminal case. Whereas in the case of estate agency appointment, where a person is legally appointed, if anything were to be wrong, then there is the appointment process, whereby you follow the appointment process, and then if there is any complaints or any irregularities, and then you go for situation of civil settlement. So there is a well protected owner buyer rights, and tenant and landlord right to their redress and course of action following the law. If anyone would not to follow the law, then you can lodge a complaint with the Board of Valuer, Appraiser, Estate Agent and Property Managers, which is a regulatory body for the behavior or the actions or conducts of the particular agency firm. So legals, and another way is that things are legal if you are appointing a legal agent. Things that is being carried out is a legal aspect, and then it follows the law, and then therefore all promises and acceptance are legal. So it holds water. Whereas if it is illegally appointed, then all promises are not legal. Anytime things can change. So you can say, I have made a booking for your house, but then at the next moment somebody else has offered to buy at a higher price. The person can change his decision and say, sorry, you have not got the house anywhere, I'm selling it to another person, and that you cannot take any action against the agent or against the seller, because there is no contract, because the contract is illegal anyway. So whereas if you have a good appointed agent, a legally appointed agent, and sign the papers of offer and acceptance, then if anything were to happen, then you can take that paper, take that letter of offer and acceptance, and then claim for your damages. Another way looking at it is that the aspect of the cost and the marketing, appointing an illegal agent and a legal agent. So sorry, this one is legal agent on the right hand side, illegal agent, illegal broker on the left hand side. So the right hand side, the legal agents is actually charging to the maximum of 3% of the transacted price, and maximum 1.25 months for the rental if it is less than 3 years of lease or rental. And then advertisement are legitimate. They openly advertise verified. They call it verified. Of course, you can verify them with the Lembaga website, lppeh.gov.my, to see whether this particular person, this particular agent, negotiator, or PEA like me is actually registered with the board. And then you can do co-agency with another agency, big agency group, openly. And then there is of course SST, as we mentioned just now, which can be sometimes absorbed by the agency firm to actually lower. It's not that they absorb it in a way, it's just that they build in the total commission together with the SST into one figure, and then a payment is made and then divided out, take the 6% to pay to government. So it's in fact inclusive of the SST, or in the old days when we had GST, they say it inclusive of GST. But again, this is individually arranged with the agency firm, maybe a negotiated deal, especially when it is a big deal. Anyway, legally, this is in a way interpreted as certain charges of fee, and then up on the fee there is a SST add together, become the total fee of the service provided. And this is legally deductible in the tax. So especially when you appoint a legally qualified agent to deal with your house, you actually pay him a fee, and then there is a tax on the fee, and these are all deductible into the so-called rental. That means your house rental, when you pay your income tax for the rental collected, you can actually deduct this cost out from the rental. Of course, it is provided that you declare this rental. A lot of people in small cities, they do not declare their rental income, therefore there is no concern of them. Of course, to them is well, anyway, I don't declare my rental income. But if you declare your rental income and you engage an illegal agent, then whatever charges or commission paid to that illegal agent can never be surfaced out to be deducted, because it is not legal in the first place, and therefore you cannot deduct out whatever cost that is involved in getting you the tenant. So just go back to the this part on the illegal brokers. So the part on the fee charges is varies, and sometimes you are supposed to save money, but they may be charging similar to the legal agents, and then is probably sometimes even more, because they say that there is a markup here, and then there is undisclosed things. And then for the advertisement part on the illegal agents, because they tend to be worried about publishing their or publishing or publicly publishing their advertisement. They actually pretend to be owner or a non-owner. So in a way, probably people would think that this house is been sold to this particular person, ABC, who is actually selling it off. So they see your house, they thought that your house is no more yours. You have actually sold your house to this agent or pretending broker. So ends up that they actually have a confusion of actually you are selling your house or you already have sold it to somebody. So network of all friends and brokers also is they are not legally allowed to do public advertisement. Therefore they tend to be only working on a network by phone calls, and therefore this type of phone calls calling each other, the effectiveness in today's IT handphone type of social media advertisement is less effective in the old days where phone calling each other. There is no SST, and also there is nothing to be deductible, so you cannot use it to deduct as a cost in the process of getting a payment. And even in the case of real property gains tax, so seller who have sold the property and end up making some profit and need to declare the real property gains tax, the illegal agents, the cost that is paid to them, the commission that is paid to them cannot be used to deduct out on the profit. So the profit becomes higher in the sense that it is spent as a profit, spent as a commission to the illegal agent, but yet you cannot deduct it out and claim the deduction, so that your profit is reduced and the tax is being reduced. So by using illegal agents, it actually in a less saving manner or in a higher cost manner affects your decision on using them. So in summary, today's presentation on legal and illegal agents is that the purpose of the law is to protect the public and then to protect whoever has the engagement on representing them for the job of estate agency practice. So there is a purpose of the law to protect, not to cause more confusion or more difficulties or increased difficulties of the public. The law is in place to protect the weak. So sometimes in this sense, public is the weak ones, and then the conmen and the intermediary are the strong ones and the powerful ones. So the purpose of the law is to protect the weaker people. Implication of accountability and responsibility also, you can see in the case that you appoint a legal agent or qualified agent, that there is accountability and responsibility in law, that it is upon them, that they cannot simply carry out the work. In case of things happen, and in case of unexpected things, therefore there is a framework of law regulation that governs the whole process. For the illegal ones, they do not actually come under any purview of the law, so they can simply do anything and get away with it. Third, the last two things is about costs and charges and also tax implications. So we have gone through all this for the purpose that you differentiate that getting an illegal broker to do a job is actually not a smart way of saving money, and in fact not really a good way of going forward, especially when you are looking at a property that may take some time, in fact a few months to a few years. So there are a lot of issues that may have changed in between, and then you do not want to be cheated and also taken advantage of. And the reason that you appoint a legal ones is that if there is any retrospective concern that things are not done in your way, you can always take it out and get a fair trial in the court of law. Thank you so much. I can be contacted at the below number, and then also there are other websites that I am actively building, and hopefully you would visit and also contribute to um, comments how to make it better. Thank you so much for following the video.